What's going on, guys? Zach here, back with another performance review, this time on the Nike KD9. Make sure you guys subscribe if you are new to the channel, and make sure you hit the like button when it's all said and done if you are happy with what you see here. I was lucky enough to get this shoe pretty early. I've been playing in it for about a week and a half, so I'm sure I can bring you guys a pretty accurate review. The KD9 will release on June 18th for $150, which is definitely a good look considering last year's KD8 retailed for $180. Alright guys, so the traction on the KD9 is a hexagonal pattern. You guys can see that the hexagons placed in high wear areas are not filled in the center, whereas the ones that aren't placed in high wear areas are filled. The traction played absolutely phenomenal on court and is definitely up to par with what is probably the best traction out right now in the Under Armour Curry 2. These things had me covered on clean or extremely dusty courts. On those extremely dusty courts, wiping was only occasionally required, which is something you very rarely see in a hoop shoe. Usually on the super sloppy courts, you are required to wipe at every dead ball, but that definitely wasn't the case with these. It was only here and there, very seldom to every other performance shoe on the market. My personal favorite traction of all time is what was found on the Jordan 28, and these are literally one step below, like I said, on par with the Under Armour Curry 2. The cushion featured on the KD9 is full-length max zoom. The last and only time we saw this on the KD line was in the Nike KD6 Elite, and the biggest problem with those for a lot of people, including KD himself, was that the zoom was not flexible enough. For the majority of the playoffs, KD actually wore the regular KD6 model rather than the Elite version because, like I said, it just wasn't flexible enough for him. The most known basketball shoe to utilize max zoom is probably the LeBron 10, and similar to the KD6 Elite, it wasn't flexible enough for a lot of people. To fix that issue, Nike put a huge flex groove in the forefoot, and it really just makes max zoom a whole nother level cushion. It already felt extremely comfortable and is one of the best cushions out, but now that they can use it in a flexible manner, it just changes the game completely. Another thing that Nike did in comparison to the LeBron 10 was they actually slimmed down the midsole, or the amount of foam that was used. The LeBron 10 offered zero court feel, and that was definitely an issue for the smaller guards who wanted to wear that shoe because they couldn't make cuts as quickly as they wanted. Overall, they knocked it out of the park in the cushion department. For materials, Nike utilized Flyknit in the forefoot of the shoe and a padded mesh in the back part. The Flyknit is not backed with anything, which is absolutely spectacular, but the weave is thicker in certain areas, and you can kind of see that with that circular pattern. The circular areas are more thin for that flexibility, but the parts that aren't circled are much more thick, because if Nike used that thin Flyknit throughout the entire shoe, then the KD9 definitely wouldn't be supportive enough for basketball. Many people are going to want to ask, how does this compare to the Kobe 11? And honestly, this stuff is 10 times better. There isn't any glue to back the Flyknit. There aren't any TPU strands woven throughout the upper. It's literally just Flyknit, and it's finally done right. And to make it even better, as I'm going to bring up throughout the video, these are $150 and you get true Flyknit, whereas on the Kobe's are $200 and it's not true Flyknit. Just like the cushion, they absolutely knock the materials out of the park. As far as the shoe's fitting is concerned, I would definitely suggest going down half a size, otherwise you are going to have a little bit of room in the toe box. There isn't any volume height-wise in the toe, the shoes would just simply fit too long. Going down a half size allowed the shoes to fit absolutely perfect for me, and I had no issues whatsoever. There are lace loops similar to Flywire utilized along the midfoot, and that definitely helps keep you contained throughout the entire time playing. One thing that I did think was going to be an issue, however, was the heel area. Nike utilized an internal heel counter, which definitely does the job, but the reason I was so worried is because there is a lot of padding on the inside, which actually comforts that area very nicely, but usually when there's a lot of padding, it causes a little bit of heel slippage. Thankfully enough, that was not an issue. It was just a worry I had in my mind the whole time. I was like, oh man, this is going to be the one downfall to the shoe, but nope, I was completely wrong. The padding may be thick, but once again, your foot is locked down at all times. I had no issues whatsoever. Please guys, just go down half a size and you won't have any issues with the fit. But wide footers must keep in mind that this is a KD shoe, and in previous years, wide footers have had a lot of problems simply because they aren't wide enough. This one is slightly wider than what was found on the KD8, KD7, KD6, etc. But it's still not quite as wide as any other Nike shoe, just because KD is such a lanky player and he has a narrow foot. If you are a wide footer, all I can say is try them on since I don't have a wide foot myself. The support of the shoe is definitely on the minimal side, but that's just what comes with the softer materials used along the upper. Just about all of the support is coming from the fit on the shoe. So like I said, those lace loops that are utilized and the heel counter in the back, they do a great job, but the materials, like I said, are very soft, so support therefore is on the minimal side. The base of the shoe is fairly wide, but you've got to remember that max zoom is being used here, so it's a little bit more of a squishy cushion. And don't get me wrong here, I'm not saying that this shoe is prone to ankle injuries at all. I'm just saying that it's on the minimal side, so people with weak ankles or very big guys might want to stay away. It's definitely catered to the quick type rather than the powerful. Before I got this shoe, I had two go-to shoes when I'm going to the gym, the Jordan 29 Low and the Rose 6 Prime Knit version, but now a third shoe has definitely been added to my go-to rotation. The Tractions Beast, can't go wrong with full-length zoom when it's articulated. This shoe was executed so well, guys, and the price drop made it even better. Once again, these are releasing on June 18th for $150, and I would definitely suggest picking up a pair. These things are straight up beasts, and I definitely cannot wait to see what other colorways Nike has in store. If you like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you are new. That's very important for me and it definitely goes a long way. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snups at ZKAllDay1. I'm gonna have all the links down in the description below. Make sure you guys follow me for all things kicks. Not too much else to talk about though, guys. See you next time.